Appreciate everyone for joining us. Obviously, a somber mood coming off yesterday. Georgia Tech with the proverbial defensive egg yesterday against NC State. I'll relay a quick funny story. One second. Eat something. I'll relay a quick funny story. I had to give Chad a ride home. I read back to his hotel last night after a game because he'd Ubered over and we got out pretty late. And he told me a buddy of his who works at Duke had texted him before the game started that when this person heard that Hollywood and Jolie were out, that this was 100% a game that Dave Dorn would win because this is what he does there. Whenever they are like backs against the wall, have guys starters out and stuff, they always pull like these weird upsets, and it's like been his MO the whole time he's been at NC State. So
just good enough to keep the fans off of him a little bit.
Well, what's funny is the mood in the press box after the game was very funny because they're like their fan media, I guess would be the way I would put it, were not super stoked about a potential another year of Dave Dorn. Like people had hot boards ready and all this stuff, and he's now sort of at the point where you can't fire him, and their fan base is fired up because they got Will Wade in basketball, thinking they could get like a crazy win all of a sudden. But yeah, yes, this is very much like how Georgia Tech kept beating Virginia Tech with the backup quarterback, backup running back, and then one time the backup center, quarterback, and running back, be back, Paul Johnson terms. They lost, man. They've been flirting with danger since game one. Like, let's be real here. And we knew someone was going to get them at some point, and they got last night. And it was poor Haynes King played his butt off, and the defense let him down. I was telling somebody earlier, I was covering college football, not covering Georgia Tech. But when 1998, when Joe Hamilton had that like Heisman season, and they were getting pretty good, and the defense like kind of was like what let them down. It has a little bit of shades of that right now. Like the offense is really good and smoking, and they just having some moments. And that one, I think they got wrecked by Boston College in the opener that season and gave up like 41, which is like giving up 60 in today's game. And then I think Florida State got him pretty good, and Bobby Dodd. Both of those were at home.
I remember Key talking about the Boston College game a few weeks ago, and we asked him something I can't remember. Or maybe it was about the perfect game formula or whatever that they came up with or whatever. But he talked about getting beat, kind of getting caught off guard and beaten pretty bad by Boston College. But I don't know. It was a rough night for the defense. I don't know what else to say. It was bad. All three levels were bad, and just one of those where you got to figure out a way to turn it around, because you can't be playing defense like that and expect to win games down the stretch with some good teams ahead on the schedule. So I don't know what the answers are, but they've got a bye week to figure it out. So
there just seemed to be a lack of adjustments. There was a lack of stuff going on defensively. The effort was weird. Didn't play a lot of guys. They played 20 guys on defense. Now you had Alexander out. You had Jai Gilmore out, who's been your best like non-corner, and then Amari Hart. So you had your two best defensive backs basically out, and Alexander. So that hurt a lot. And then obviously Riley's been out for a while. It was just weird. It was a lack of adjustments, lack of everything on defense. The offense, I think, held their own for most of the game. It was a lot like the way it started. It felt like a couple of NC State games when Fedora was there, where like, as Paul Johnson would say, you can't miss your turn right on offense. It was a little bit like that, and it's it is what it is. Riley has another year. Riley's just a junior. And it was a tough game, and like this was one I think I circled off to go. I was trying to find that a minute ago. If you heard me clacking around, I was trying to find the. Yeah, I was talking about UNC, Fedora at UNC. Did I not say UNC? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
NC
pretty
State,
sure I did.
UNC.
Anyways, when Fedora was at UNC, they had several of these games with Georgia Tech. They lost one of them because they scored too quickly on like a reverse to maybe Smelter. And then they won another one that was 68-50, which was the highest scoring game in ACC history for a while. So, yeah. And they've had some weird games with NC State up there, too. I remember covering a game with Russell Wilson up there that was weird. They got him. Yeah,
Yep.
you're ready to get got, dude. And, like, y'all need to, like, hold your heads up. We're talking about, we're what, 4 years removed from losing the last two games of the season, Georgia Tech losing the last two games of the season 100-0. It's a far cry from that, but you had the false starts on the real things in the offense were the false starts. I don't know if that was crowd or like they were called, I think mostly on Carney. You were down, guys on the offense, you were down basically your two slots and one of your starting offensive linemen. And then the second half, they played without McKinney at all. So, they're doing pretty well. But yeah, it sucks because everyone gets excited and you get yourself worked up that this is going to be a special season. You're going to do all this, blah, 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 blah. You still have a lot in front of you. And they got to fix some things. Obviously, they got to fix some defensive things big time. Whatever happened on Saturday is unacceptable on any level. And Brian will tell you that. And he was pretty honest about that. But they're going to have to figure it out, whatever it is. Playing soft zones and trying to contain the quarterback is not a winning formula for this defense. And they've done this a few times. They did it with Santucci last year against Syracuse. It was pretty much the same exact game. They got punched in the mouth for almost the entire game. That one, they fought back a little bit in the fourth quarter and then just couldn't do anything. So I think, I don't know. I'm going to have to mute somebody because they're being really obnoxious right now in the chat.
It's going so fast I can't even read them. I don't. Yeah, the defense, like I don't. I mentioned this in my takeaways last night, but like it's gotten to the point of like open competition during the bye week, and there's guys that's played a lot that probably need to play less. There's guys that haven't played that need to get a shot because when you have a performance like that, you kind of lose all of like, hey, this is my spot type of thing. It's up in the air. So that's kind of what I expect to happen. You still got to maintain the locker room and, all that kind of stuff, but you got to kind of look at yourself too and say, hey, am I doing my job? So, or can somebody else do it better? That's kind of where I'm at. I don't want to call guys out specifically. I know a lot of names have been coming and going around on the message boards for specific guys, but yeah, it was bad. Offense played their tail off, and we still aren't getting as much as I thought we would out of the running backs.
Kings at what 5'10", something like that. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like they did their job. They scored enough points to win. If you score 38 points, you should be able to win a football game. It wasn't like they were playing the number one offense in the country. NC State's been pretty good offensively and very efficient this year, but like that was something else. And they just look tired on defense. And I don't know if it's like playing too much. I don't know what's going on. But and then defensively they have a lot of Jimmy's and Joe's issues. They invested heavily fixing the offense. And didn't have the resources to probably get what they needed defensively at this point. And then you need a proof of concept, I think, a little bit there on that side of the ball too. And so it's a little catch-22. They got to basically do what they did with the offensive line. Why has the offensive line been better? They invested heavily in it. They invested with high school kids. They invested in the portal, and they took lots of dudes. They have a big group of offensive linemen. I do the same thing now. The defensive line, they're paying the price for basically recruiting failures from like 2020 through like now, basically. Like, so they've had a bunch of misses, and now you have a bunch of young guys they've brought in the last 2 years who aren't ready to play. And so that's hurting you. Linebacker play has been iffy. That's been a problem for years and years and years now at Georgia Tech. And these problems stretch through multiple coaches too, which gets back to where some of I think Jimmy's and Joe's issues. Like, you've had what? So Grow, you had Charles Kelly as an interim, you had Ted, you had Nate Woody, you had Thack, you've had Tooch, and now Gideon. You're 7 DCs in with the same kind of issues that you're having, like pretty much across the board. And like, other than, yeah, as Chad mentions, the 1 year where they had was Ace and
Charlie
Ace
Thomas.
and Charlie, yeah, as super seniors. Like, it's been, and like, if you're pointing out 1 year point out another one out of the last whatever since 2009. Like, it's been bad, and they got ahead of steam and got going, and then it was just all downhill from there. And you see this so much in college football right now. Like, teams just get rolling and go down. I don't know. It's a weird thing. People got to chill out though, man. Like, it's very weird seeing all the like melting down of fans about like what Brett Key's gonna do, what's this gonna do, what's that gonna do. Like, it's so crazy to me. Like, people talking about somebody like taking a visit, like doing road interviews, which no one does like anymore. Everyone, you have this thing. Like the thing we're talking on right now. It's just stupid. Like, people use no common sense. Like, just take a breath, think about something for a second. Does it make sense to you? So you talk about Brent Key. Brent Key's at his alma mater. His entire life set up around Georgia Tech people, and you're concerned that he's going to walk for like a job that's been through 7 coaches in what, like 15 years, like Auburn or whatever, or like LSU that's fired 2 guys who've won national championships, or sorry, one, and another that's had them in the playoffs. Like it doesn't make sense, but like people are. It's almost like some of the fan base was like waiting for this moment all season,
There's
like the
absolutely
Charlie
no doubt
Brown,
about that. There's
like the
no doubt.
football getting pulled out from Lucy pulling the football or whatever. It was like that. Everybody's just and I'm a little bit guilty of it too, by the way. Like, I'm not gonna make fun. I was waiting to see. I thought it was Wake Forest. They should have lost the Wake Forest game, right? Could have
Yeah.
lost at Colorado. Could have lost a lot of other times this season. Haven't. So it's high drama. We'll see what happens, but like, y'all gotta chill out, man. Like, be happy you're in year 2, basically, of this kind of massive, or it's year 3 of kind of a rebuilding of your program and a modernization of your program too. And you have alignment for the first time in forever in terms of your admin, your school president, and your head coach. You have a straight line of, you'll get it figured out. They stopped the run the week before, though. That's the weird thing. That was a good run defense game. It was bad pass defense. They've struggled all year stopping the run, and it showed yesterday. And you had a guy that was pissed that Georgia Tech didn't take him too. By the way, that was, I think, extra fired up for that. And Duke Scott, like, he was
Had a good
got
night.
passed over.
Yeah, he was motivated. You mentioned Amari and Jai Gilmore out, and Alexander. I don't know Alexander as much as Gilmore and Harvey seem like guys that are kind of like get the attention of their teammates, kind of leaders on defense. So I don't know if that's part of it or whatever. I think Matthew Alexander is a little bit quieter, but Missing those guys that would kind of, be the ones that would tell everybody on the sound like this isn't good enough during the middle of it.
Sure.
I don't know if it had a lot to do with it, but yeah, those are big time losses. But yeah, you said we've been kind of playing with fire here for several games, and you do that enough, and you're gonna find somebody that's gonna beat you. So, NC State at night said was all over it with his characterization of Carter Finley kind of being different. So he nailed that. So yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. It was just, I don't know. I felt good about it until they kicked that field goal to start the second half after they had the false start, and I was like, man, it's going to be tough because I had no confidence they were going to get a stop defensively. So, but is what it is.
Things. I'll do a couple of things from the chat, and then we'll get into some questions. Chad Alexander did play. He was the guy. So I guess you guys at home, they may not have commented on this. When they did kickoffs, they had so Chad's already redshirted, right? This is his first game today or yesterday. He was on kickoff team. He was wearing number 46 or something. He had like an alt jersey, but it didn't look ridiculous, so no one picked up on it. But because him and Tay were on the kickoff team, he had to wear an alt jersey. So Chad did play. Actually, he just didn't play any running back. Yeah, Haynes King is one of the top quarterbacks in the country. If Georgia Tech stays in the hunt, he will be in the Heisman race for sure the rest of the year. Now, does he get to New York or not? Probably, sadly, depends on how the team fares down the stretch.
Chad actually had a tackle on the kickoff team yesterday. I saw that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he played special teams.
Samo chose Mike. Yeah, 27 is now wearing 46. Yeah, that was what it was. And we couldn't hear, like, the press box. I posted the pictures real far away and all glassed in. So, like, there's no sound. So we didn't hear much until we went down onto the field at the very end of the game after they rushed the field. I do appreciate William's comment here about Debbie Downers need to go to Magic City and have some fun. Maybe they do. I don't know, man. It's weird. This was like you're in Vegas, you're up 10 grand at the table, and like, I don't know if Alex can relate to winning that much, but like, you're up 10 grand and you lose 5 of it on a hand, like, but you still got 5. You're still up 5. Like, you're playing with house money right now, man. It was not warm in the press box, by the way. It was freezing because they had the windows open on both sides of us. So I actually had a jacket on the whole game. It warmed up as soon as the game ended, and they closed the windows for the radio booths and stuff, which were on both sides of us, and made it cold. Pitt'll be a challenge. You got to beat Pitt. You got to beat Boston College next week. They've proven every week, pretty much this season, that Georgia Tech is beatable, right? Like, or gettable. Like, this is not a. This ain't A&M. This isn't like Ohio State or whatever. You're not there yet, right? Like, look at how thin like Georgia or Clemson is right now. Like, teams that traditionally are pretty deep because they've lost all these people. So like, just focus on what you can focus on. They've lost their total control of their destiny. So you got to keep winning and see what happens.
Yeah, but they need to win out, and I think they need SMU or no, who was it? They need somebody to lose. To get.
But the way the season's gone, man, look at what happened like to Auburn yesterday, and they fired their coach, right? Like, Kentucky is pretty terrible, and they beat Auburn at home. Like, UVA is certainly flirted with disaster. They won by 10. If you didn't watch the game, they covered by returning a pick like at the end of the game. They were up 3 and threw a pick, and that was how the game ended. But like, they've been just as bad as Georgia Tech has at being very beatable every week. Like, they've been on the ropes. So we'll see. Louisville still has a tough slate ahead of them. We'll see what happens. That was Louisville, I feel like, is probably the best coach team out of all the ones right now, but they've certainly shown some flaws too. Everybody's sort of mid, man. I had a UGA buddy who was kind of mouthing off about like all this stuff to me, and I was like, your team sucks too, man. Like, you lost to Alabama, who lost to Florida State, who's not great this year. Wake Forest has been good, and then they get smoked by Florida State. Like, it makes no sense what's happening week to week. So like, just relax, see what's happening. Like, and enjoy the season. My God, it's been so long since they've even been remotely in a position to win 8 or 9 games. Like, um, I guess last year could have won 8, but like, not to get to double digit wins seems such a far cry. I was talking to Ken about this yesterday, Ken Segura from the AJC yesterday before the game. We were sitting eating like a pregame meal or whatever. And I was like telling the story about how I've talked about that story about him at the Notre Dame game a couple of years ago when Jeff was still coaching and I guess 21, and saying how unfun it was. Like, it is what it is, man. So we'll see what happens. Like, I'm excited. The defense sucked, yes. The offense was still really good. Special teams were really good. Kick return still needs some work. That's been a little wonky. But it's been wonky for a while. It's been wonky really since Gibbs.
Kick
Yeah, man, they're
return's
not.
hard. Kick return's hard because you get so few chances, and then when you do, like you don't know. I don't know. It looked like there was a chance for a bigger return on one of them last night, and he just went through like
He ran right into the pile. Yeah,
yeah,
there was one where they needed to break one. He ran into the
yeah.
pile.
So I don't know. You don't get a lot of kick returns, so yeah, that's a weird situation. But
The offense did score a touchdown. It looked like they just didn't review it on one of the field goals they kicked on
yeah,
the goal
Haynes
line. I
was
thought I was like shocked they didn't review it. I was like saying to myself, I would call a timeout and like challenge it. I don't know if they had a timeout there or not. I don't remember what part of the game that was, but
that was the first drive of the second half, maybe I think, because then they got the false start on third down or fourth down. Yeah, I thought Haynes King was laying like on the goal
yeah, he
line.
just looked like he rode one of his guys into the end zone. Like, and it wasn't like an early whistle or anything like that either. It was a very strange game, like in a lot of different levels. I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, I don't understand getting back to, maybe it was in the second quarter. I don't understand like why they like just didn't sub anybody in the secondary most of the game. Like, Omar and Clayton played the entire game. That's rough when you're playing that many snaps and the offense is scoring fast. Like, what was that about? And Tay was playing on special teams, so like, what's going on there? Um,
Toby took a knee at one point and like had to come out.
Melvin didn't play like at all at linebacker. They're having issues there with especially in coverage. Like, why is he not playing? Like, he was on teams, he played on special teams, but like, that's if I'm going to particularly get annoyed at something in terms of like it's personnel usage or being afraid to try guys. Like, they weren't stopping them anyway. So what was the harm of trying Elgin Sessions or Tay Harris or Pritchett, who hasn't been very good this year, but like, or even a DJ Moore or somebody, like, just try guys. Melvin Jordan, try him out. Jackson Hamilton's down there, try him out. Like,
That's the one
when
I'm
you're
more.
having issues, like, or Landon Marshall or whoever, like, you're having issues at some key spots. You have bodies. Jordan Boyd, I thought, played really well. He came in and affected the game. He bull rushed a guy that allowed Akilo Stone to get a sack. He played 7 snaps in the game. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't think he's hurt. Like, I think they just are married to these rotations they have too hard. And I think that's the biggest thing that's bothering me. And then you had some weird stuff. Like, you had 2 drop balls on probably touchdowns. Jordan had one. He had a great game, but he had one on that crossing route. But the play before, I think, was the one to Patterson in the end zone. And when I first saw it live, I thought, oh, it was just not, it was there. He just had to catch it. It was like Zion went and made that play late in the game. Like, he had one of the best catches of the season, but it's overshadowed by everything else that was going on.
Yeah, the Dean Patterson play. I thought I think he kind of lost it or something in the lights. It got on him faster than he thought it was going to, and it just went right through his hands. But it happens. The defensive, like you said, the the lack of using different guys in situations on defense, linebacker, secondary, and everything is just it's kind of I don't know. I don't get that, but somebody talked about Manley in the chat. He's one. He
He's
said
playing
that
with one
shoulder.
shoulder, so
That's
that's
what I'm
not
saying.
really.
Like he had that shoulder pop out or whatever happened to him last week 2 times, and same thing last night. Like eventually you got to say, hey, what is this worth the having him out there if he's not gonna be able to play up to his full potential with a shoulder that's going in and out or whatever it was. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
And this is where Brent has to like kind of as a head coach start to I guess intercede. I really don't know what he's got to figure out why they're so married to their personnel and scared of like playing other guys. They've burned shirts on you burned Penson's shirt, you burned Tearis' shirt, you burned Sessions shirt. And I'm not trying to pick on Shelley or Toby or whatever. They were far from the only issues in that game. Like, and they each had, I think Toby, I guess, was more okay. Shelley had like really bad DPI, and a couple bad plays, but like some of it was also dictated by what they're doing. But like the busts at the safety position have been so bad. Like, why is it happening that they keep having guys 20 yards away from a defender like that? And it's happened in multiple games now. Like, bench the guy that's screwing that up or figure out why it's happening, or you got to change your play calling or simplify it. Like, there's no reason for that to happen multiple times. If you're in cover three, be in cover three. If you're in cover two, like, why are there was that play, I think pointed out on Twitter where like, I think it might have been Clayton and Rodney just like, or Omar and Rodney just like drilled a dude. Like they both like sandwiched one guy and then there was a dude just running free behind them. Like, how does that happen? I don't know.
In game 9 of the season is the craziest part.
But I mean, they're hurting. Like Amari Harvey's like your best corner, and by a large margin, not having him is really hurting. Hopefully, he'll be back for Boston College. I think Savion's been a huge loss. They were really excited about him. He was pushing to start when he got hurt. Like he was rolling with the ones in practice at times. Like that killed them a little bit. But like this, and he was so good at that point. They had moved Pritchett to corner before the Colorado game because they felt like it was just like that was a way to maybe get him on the field. But the secondary struggle, but they didn't tackle in the running game at all. The run fits were bad. Like they were getting blown up. He was carrying defenders multiple yards. Like that ain't all on the secondary, man. Like some of that's like you got to clean things up front.
Nancy asked about QB spy a little bit, and they did play that a few times. When they did, it wasn't played well with the spy. So
no, and they would get in bad pursuit, or they'd miss like on pass rush, like they'd over pursue him or give
over
up a
aggressive.
lane. Yep,
He just ran himself out of the play. But I mean, even in the second half, when Bailey was hobbling around, he was still like I don't know the rush lanes. There was no I don't know. Guys were getting out of position, and I don't know. It was bad all around. But we could talk about the defense all night. So,
you want to jump into the terrible questions? I'm sure there's like I saw there was like 40 of them or 50.
Shoot, I think we're up to 70 now. Did anyone get left in Raleigh? That's the first question. Did anyone get left in Raleigh? I think they all made it back.
I have not heard of any changes imminent. It is a little early for all that. Sorry, I'm checking something based on some Alex. Keep going, bud.
Let's see. We talked about this. Will Key give players more opportunities? And there's some guys called out specifically, but I mean, yeah, that's the question in the bye week. So we talked about there's got to be a chance for guys to earn more opportunities than they've had, and especially on defense, there's got to be some open competition this week because the guys that are starting just hadn't been good enough. It's as simple as that. So,
by the way, there weren't a lot of negative plays for either team. I think Tech had 3, they had 4. They had a sack. They called a sack on a play that wasn't. It was a run on that weird. On a clearly what was a QB run, so they got 1 sack and like 3 other TFLs. Tech had 3 TFLs, something like that. That was it. Yeah, so this is the rub, right? Like, this is what, you get paid now. I guess the question would be more like, some people aren't getting paid, some people are getting paid. I mean, they're all getting paid a little something, but like, there's some guys probably not getting paid as much as you would think. So I understand what you're saying, but it is a little problematic. There was quite a bit of pushback I saw. I saw Amari's mom was getting into it with folks, and I get where she's coming from because she's real close to all those kids, and it's tough. And you root for them, and like some of them have done good things here too, and like, but if you're not playing well, is kind of what it is. Like, um,
I come from a background of covering high school sports for a long time, and
hey, I was right about Dave Dorn, by the way. I call him a cockroach. I say he survives whenever it looks like he's gonna get fired. It looked like he was getting fired,
yeah,
and he pulled a win out of his butt, like just like I thought he would.
he was right there. But yeah, I've covered high school sports, and I was like the last thing I would do was call a kid out in high school. But yeah, once you get to college level, especially now, like you got to expect that's coming. I'm not telling get people like go crazy, like stalking people's social media and getting on them, but you got to kind of expect some of that's going to come, especially now with the way things are with NIL and portal and all that kind of stuff. It comes with the territory. You got to kind of have a thick skin. We do. I mean, like Kelly and I get killed on Twitter sometimes for some of the stuff we say or write or whatever. And it gets to you a little bit sometimes, but yeah, I can imagine some of what these players deal with NIL and with people betting on games and all that kind of stuff. But it's what what the times are right now. So
The way I put it last night, and I said it to Brent, I think in the press conference, was things have progressed to the point where when you lose a game, another team rushes the field against you. And when was the last time you could ever say that about Georgia Tech? I'm trying to think of a game I've covered at Georgia Tech where the opposing team rushed the field.
I can't think of one in the last 15 years.
I remember one at Georgia, which was very funny when they lost at Kentucky when I covered them in 06. And Kentucky fans couldn't figure out how to tear the goalpost down, which was very funny. But yeah, I can remember ones where Tech was rushing the field. There's been quite a few of those, including one this year. But think about that for a second. Just take a deep breath. Be like, you were in a position where someone rushed the field against you after beating you because it was so important and such a seminal moment for their season. And you were good enough to be in that position. UVA in 2011, Ian's saying. That sounds right. I feel like there might have been one. But the UVA is weird because they're like right on the field anyways. Like there's literally no barricade between the end zone and the field.
That's when that Florida State receiver almost got killed earlier this year.
Yeah, when we all thought he was dead until like until like people found him like later on and showed him on Twitter or whatever.
Yep.
But I mean, we're in a situation where like it ain't as far from over league's not great. So like just keep winning and you got a chance to go to Charlotte. You still got a chance to play Georgia and beat them. They've been certainly look very beatable. So it is what it is. Like I think it's funny. But yeah, it's very funny to see how quickly some people want to show their ass too and all this. Like and the bad fans and things like that.
Yeah, the negatives come out a whole lot more.
You lost one game like in a season. You're almost there's what 3 regular season games left. Like if I told you before the year you'd be 8-1 or whatever, every single person in this chat would have taken it. Every single person watching this probably would have taken it. Brent Key probably would have taken it. Like that was my best case scenario. I thought was 8-1. I thought they would lose. I had them losing it was either this game, Boston College, or Pitt. I thought that was where they were going to trip up in the ACC. I thought they'd beat Clemson and lose this one. So it is weird.
I hope not.
Nate Brock, the offensive line coach, I think the tight ends coach, I think he got hacked on Saturday. He was like had some weird crypto thing and like linked to like a picture of a car from like Bakersfield, California, or something weird. It was clearly a little sketch. I haven't asked. I need to talk to Nate and see if like that's what happened with him.
I got out of crypto a few years ago when Doge went back down. That was my one crypto adventure. Let's see here.
I would have thought you'd be in the Haktua chicks. You would have been all about that.
She was in the first episode of that Chad Power show. I was like, man, what a nice little callback for the pop culture.
Yeah, it's one of those things that ages kind of like milk.
Yeah.
Like it's so far out of the zeitgeist. Let's take a second here and talk about our friends, Section 103. Buy your Georgia Tech gear. Get all of your Georgia Tech gear. You can get your Brent Key hoodie. You can get your Haynes King stuff, North Avenue Trade School. Section 103 is tech stuff for tech fans. Alex got everything that's tech related except for his Eric Rivers jersey he wore on Halloween from Section
I still got it. I haven't burned it yet, but
appreciate everyone for supporting them. Great people, tech fans doing stuff for tech people. Yes, Jeff Collins would have totally had a meme coin.
Hey, it's not too late. He might get in it.
You know what? Somebody might give him a job. There's so many open. There's no one to hire for any of them. So,
yeah, I think South Carolina staff might be looking around for a job soon too. So
I blame Najee. He brought up money down last week. This is all his fault. The defense like collapsed. He mentioned money down, and that was like just bad mojo for the. I don't know. I mean, guys, like you're not gonna fix this overnight. Let's see what happens as the rest of the season plays out. You got 3 games left. You played well. I just feel like you gotta just reset yourself and see what happens the rest of the way. The bye week, I think, is at a good time for them to make some adjustments here. So, yes, no one's surprised that South Carolina fired Mike Shula, who is the equivalent of like bringing back Scott Schaefer to be Georgia Tech's defensive coordinator, the guy that gave up 56 to Paul Johnson triple option offense because he said he had it figured out and played the worst scheme ever. That's what like hiring Mike Shula to be an offensive coordinator is like.
Mike Shula is one of those guys that's gotten so many jobs after his head coaching career flamed out. That's just his name's Shula, so he gets the job. And
Tripp figured it out. Was he wearing a white shirt under his? So
he
that's
had like
the
a
other
turtleneck on.
We couldn't go down to the field like we normally do, like before the game. So yeah, got rid of the playoff beard because they weren't lost a game. I'm curious if Haynes shaves too. He was doing the same thing. I was just superstitious, so I was hoping to bring them some good luck.
I hadn't shaved the beard yet, but I threw my 2 polos that haven't been washed since the first of the season. I threw them in the washing machine this afternoon. So
there you go.
Start a new.
It just the whole day yesterday felt awkward. Like I don't know. There was like some weird mojo yesterday. I don't know what it was.
Chat. Let's see here. There's questions about Gideon. Yeah, they're not firing Gideon, so I don't know. That's not happening after 9 games or whatever. Here's a good one. What has to happen to ensure the ACC gets at least 2 teams and maybe 3 in the playoff? You just got to compete better against the non-conference.
Win the 2. Everyone's going to play a crossover game. Like, win those. Miami has. Who else is? I guess Miami's kind of out of it. But what? Louisville, Virginia. Problem with Virginia is like who they're going to beat. Like that's left on their thing. So it's that'll be tough. They would need to win the ACC. You'd need like Georgia to lose to Georgia Tech and Georgia Tech to win out. Other than that, and then be like a 11th seed or something weird.
NC State's been the Grim Reaper of the top teams. They beat Virginia and Georgia Tech. So
I do think the ACC is better than Big 12 the majority of the league's better than most of the Big Ten, except for the Indiana and Ohio State are just a level beyond everybody else in that league. And it looks like A&M sort of the one good SEC team. We'll see what happens with the boys to the East. They still have not looked very good this year.
I'm glad you said that about the Big 12. I had somebody yesterday tell me that the Big 12 is better than the ACC, so I don't agree with that.
Cincinnati was what, 17 or something? They got smoked.
Yeah, I mean BYU is still undefeated. That's the one, but I mean they've got a Big 12 is going to beat up on each other in November. There's some big
Ole
games
Miss is always primed for that weird loss. They always have that like a Dave Doran level upset like of somebody. Like they'll go and beat and they'll go and lose to like Florida like they did last year, or was it 2 years ago when they shouldn't.
Did Brent fire his mom last night? If not, why not?
Oh, that goes back to my Brentwood fire his mom. That's a good callback to that. Yeah, I think everyone's just frustrated, man. That's what the bye week's for, though. And the reality is, the bye week illustrated this part of the season illustrated the thing that I've talked about all season with him trying to build depth out, and they have it on offense. They were able to overcome like Chad Alexander being out and Trelane Maddox, who's supposed to be one of their main guys, being out half the season, or like losing Malik and Bailey. Bailey did not play at all yesterday. I'm not sure what was going on with him. So when you look at all of that, they were deep enough on offense to overcome that, or not there with the defense yet. And they got to figure that out. And part of it's been you've had 3 coordinators in 3 years or 4 years, whatever it's been. So is that right? Was Tucci only there 1 year? I can't
He was on there 1 year, yeah.
So like 3 in 3 years, like that's rough. Like it's the lack of continuity there is catching them a little bit, whereas the offense has been pretty much the same staff with changes at receivers coach, and that's been about it.
I didn't get
and running backs.
I didn't get the thread on our board about the Santucci. We would have been better.
They didn't watch the Syracuse game last year where they did the same thing.
And it's not like Santucci left on his like he left to go take an
NFL job. He didn't.
What are you gonna? Yeah, they're not gonna get in a bidding war with the Baltimore Ravens to keep him. Like
no, it wasn't about. That was never about money. His goal in life was. This is what Brent told me. He said Tyler wanted to coach in the NFL. He was like, I wasn't going to stand in his way of his dream job to be like an NFL assistant coach, or to be an NFL coach, not necessarily assistant.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no excuse for the way the defense played. You got to tackle people and play better than that. Brent's been raising money this entire year basically to try to overhaul the defensive issues they have. That's been their goal. Last year, so this is something else, and I probably should talk about this now. They had to make a serious investment in Haynes King and keeping Aaron Philo as well, right? And then getting the other pieces of the Rivers and all these other guys, keeping Keelan Rutledge, keeping Jordan Vandenberg, all this stuff. They're in a different position now moving into the next season. A lot of those guys come off the books, and they're going to be able to invest their resources in getting more talent on the defensive side of the ball. And now that you're actually winning, it'll be a little easier as well. And this is the big thing. This is the holdup why I haven't announced a contract extension with Brent either, is like they're trying to get everything situated so you can get what you need in terms of getting war daddies on the defensive line, which is what y'all are talking about. Keeping them on the offensive line, keeping your offense developed. Trying to keep Buster around, trying to keep that continuity there, and then also building out your defense. And the reality is they haven't had NFL talent on the defensive side of the ball. That's been a huge problem going back to, really Paul. Like that was sort of the downside of what he did, is they couldn't get defensive guys, and they struggled on that side of the ball recruiting and got killed with negative recruiting, and they weren't cheating. And so fixing all of that is complicated, and it's going to take time. But yeah, they need to go find a couple of guys. It's something that I give USF a lot of credit for. They did a nice job of like finding value guys and like piecing together. And their version of, say, Ronald Triplett or whatever is actually playing really well for them. Or their version of AJ Hoffler, like they found guys that were maybe a little bit more productive that have worked out better for them in their scheme, but they're also playing different types of teams too. So you've got to figure it out. But it hasn't. The defense has been bad since Tenuta, right? Like, and what Tenuta did wouldn't work now. So like, it's been pretty bad. It was not great when O'Leary was the head coach either. By the way, like that's why those teams lost with Joe Hamilton in '98. They were bad on defense. Like, we're not great.
Yeah, they had to win a lot of shootouts too back then.
And they had NFL. That team, those teams had NFL guys. That's the other thing. Like, so it's just a matter of getting out and figuring out like what you need and then going and getting it. And I think the portal window will help. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know they have a plan. I know Brand knows where he wants to spend his money. That's why you are kind of seeing some things that's going on with the recruiting too. But
There's
it's going to be interesting. But yeah, he made a choice to roll the dice on Gideon, who's a first time defensive coordinator. I think you are seeing a little bit of growing pains there. We'll see how that plays out too. Like, he's got to learn and adjust too. It wasn't like you went out and got a guy who's been calling plays a lot or was maybe even in those. You're getting up and coming guys. They have up and coming guys like Gideon and Kobe Jones and stuff. And that was the route that Brent chose to go. We'll see how that plays out now here over the last couple of weeks. I think what they're doing, from everyone I've talked to, is very solid and the plan's solid. They just are not executing it for whatever reason. They got to figure out why that is.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of SEC guys in the portal from the chat. There's with 4 openings and maybe another one coming. There's going to be a lot of defensive guys in the portal.
Now I'll say this: they were not stoked about. Gideon was concerned when he saw the secondary personnel situation when he walked into the job from someone I know who knows him really well. Like, I'll add that bit of it too. So like, he was concerned walking in the door that there was some issues there, and they've been apparent to all of us that have watched the team the last few years. You have like 2 or 3 guys that make plays. You have a couple that make plays sometimes, and then sometimes bust real hard, and so that's been tough.
Trying to scroll back up here. I was reading the comments. There's a question about at what point do we let some of the highly rated freshmen play? I think that's what this bye week's going to be about, seeing who plays down the stretch. That's kind of what we talked about.
I mean, this is a point where Brent talks about them not being freshmen anymore, right? Like, that's his big. That's his big thing, and so you've got to turn some of those guys loose. Like, the problem is at some spots they just don't have. They are like the young defensive tackle. They don't. The vibe I've gotten is they're not ready, like physically, like just not ready to play. Which makes sense. It's like offensive line. It takes longer to cook those guys to get them ready. Edges and stuff. Maybe you see more of that down the stretch. I don't know, but it'll be interesting. Like, I could come out and see them playing with their hair on fire the next game at Boston College, or having more of the same. We'll see what happens. This is a funny question. I appreciate that. Are there a surge of people? It depends. When they lose to like Georgia or something, yes. This kind of game, probably not so much. But yes, people like to come on and bitch and moan about losses.
Not a positive fan base like Georgia Tech. So they would never do.
I mean, here's the thing, guys. Everybody's like this. Go read whoever's game thread. Anyone that cares. Let me put it that way. Back that up a little, because there's some that don't care. The schools that care, most of the boards are very similar. I've covered LSU, Florida in the past prior to, or while I was doing Georgia Tech, Alabama. Obviously UGA and they were all the same. It was the same crap. Fire Willie Martinez. Fire, at Alabama they were all about getting Pete Golding fired, and then they were mad when Pete left to go to Ole Miss, and then they had
Kevin Steele.
Kevin Steele, and God, Kevin Steele's so bad. It's the same crap everywhere. Like, you guys are not. No offense, but it's not unique to like Georgia Tech. Like, this is just how it is. I think Bailey Stockton's hurt or sick. Someone tagged me on a tweet earlier this week saying he was hurt. I don't know what. I'm not trying to get in the middle of whatever's going on with the injury report, so I'll stay out of this.
Here's a question that I've kind of wondered about too. What's going on with our defense and turnovers this year? And it goes through and lists the last 6 years. It's 11 total turnovers last year, and then it's only 6 so far this year. I don't know. That's a great question. I've kind of, when we've had player availability on Wednesdays, I've kind of asked the defensive guys, like, especially the secondary, like, what do you got to do to get in position for more turnovers, interceptions, or something? And I don't know.
You need to be near the ball when it's thrown to the guy,
Exactly.
and not 5 yards away from him. That would help. Like, the cushions are so soft in these zones. Like, I don't know what that's about. Like, that drives me nuts. Like, watching the game, like how soft they play, like some of those zones. Like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Like, it's been a long time since I can remember a Georgia Tech defensive back like stepping in front of a
So,
slant
like the pivotal moment of the game, like what could have turned the game, maybe. I think it was NC State's last touchdown drive. The ball, that was the one where the ball got batted up in the air, right?
Yeah.
And they got caught it anyways, like fell forward down at like 1st and goal.
Yep.
Like, that's a pick like 9 out of 10 times anywhere. Like, that ball goes up and that gets picked.
It
And
happened last night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was like,
well, that play happened against Syracuse last week. Bounced up right into his hand in the NC State last night. It just gets tipped at the line and just falls right in his
this
lap.
time there were like 3 guys there. The
Yeah.
other one, it was just John Mitchell, and he was like out of position.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I tweeted that again at the time. I was like, it was like, clearly the football gods are not with Georgia Tech. You have used up your luck at this point. You got to refill that tank of luck because you used it up in the Wake Forest game or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, playing with fire, you got to get ready to fix it. I don't know. Yes, you can't win the coin toss. I thought that was a good omen because it's been a good omen all year.
Yeah, 0-9 on coin tosses to start the game is kind of ridiculous. But here's one. It's bad to
the
lose.
Play on offense was a terrible choice in that moment.
Oh, yeah.
That was too desperate.
But
that was really about the only bad thing that Buster did all day.
Yeah. So they never want to lose a game, but I wonder if this kind of cuts the tension and frees the team up to play like more with their backs against the wall. I don't know if it's that, but I think it's kind of like hey, we've been close to this for a while now, and it finally happened. So there's nothing like a loss to show you the lesson that you're not where you think where you thought you were going to be. Like you were 8-0, but you were very close to a few losses. So this will probably drive that point home a lot more than it has. That's kind of my take on it.
So Dave took the ball. It was like the guys in the box said it was maybe like the 2nd or 3rd time he's done that in his entire time at NC State. They had a plan. They were going to put it to Tech, try to get them behind early, and then make them play from behind. So it clearly worked. It was a good strategy. Normally, Dorn's a defensive guy, if you didn't know. Clearly didn't show last night for their defense. And so that's the fun part about all this. They're stuck with basically like their version of Chan Gailey, and can't figure out how to get out of it with Dave Dorn. So their fans are pretty pissed. Yeah, man. I mean, maybe we'll see. We'll see how they respond. I feel like they're going to respond positively.
All right. So here's the race to the AC championship game is kind of a mess. if you had to pick two teams right now to play for the ACC championship, who would they be? Excuse me. I don't know. I think
Georgia Tech.
That's what I would say, but I don't know. I think Virginia might have a loss in them down the stretch. They've kind of been like Georgia Tech, like we talked about. They've kind of been playing with fire a little bit, and eventually that's going to get them in one of these things. I don't know. SMU seems to be playing pretty well right now, so.
Bravo. Well played, sir.
SMU's playing pretty well right now. I don't know. Louisville's playing pretty well, so.
Joe, they got to beat BC first and then beat Pitt.
Yeah.
This is the thing I've been talking about, for 3 or 4 weeks now. You're getting everybody's best shot every week. It has been very clear from the jump. That's how it's been since they beat Clemson. Ever since then, you're going to get everybody's best shot every week. It's how you handle that. Miami's been terrible at it, right? They fold up real bad when that happens to them. What is that status? Mario is 4-11 in November at Miami or something like that.
That sounds about right.
Like, you got to figure it out. We'll see what happens.
Oh man, how do you think Gideon responds to this performance? It seems like a fiery, competitive guy. I'm sure he's not feeling too good today. I'm sure he watched some film and has a pretty good plan to attack this bye week. He's not satisfied with what's happened so far. Just based on the way he competes, I'll say that. Let's see. I'm going to page 2. There's some requests for recruiting war room.
Yeah, working on that for the bye week. That's
Yeah.
on my list of stuff to do.
I've got some stuff set up for the bye week too. I might be making a trip west to the Central Time Zone soon on the recruiting front. Let's see here. I mean, the way Notre Dame played at Boston College yesterday, I think that at Pitt, that seems like a more winnable game for Pitt now to me.
It's not Notre Dame of last year. They're very okay.
Yeah. Here's a question. Do you think we should focus more money on the portal for defense instead of high school recruiting? I think you can get more ready impact players from the portal for especially defense than you can in high school recruiting. There's few guys going to come in and play right away. I guess it's a year-to-year thing, I would guess, depending on the strength of the class. Yeah, I'm covering B-ball tomorrow night for a big Maryland Eastern Shore matchup. I'm sure it'll be a sellout.
We'll both be covering it, but Alex we split up because he played Monday and Friday, so Alex is doing the Monday game. I'll do the Friday game.
Yep.
We divide and conquer basketball.
They have a game on Black Friday too, I believe. Is that? I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be down in that tournament in Destin.
Oh, I thought they were at home. I was about to say because that's the Georgia.
Bugger, I appreciate your question. I've talked about this 1,000 times. I'm not getting into who's staying or going or whatever with 3 games left in the season and a postseason thing. We'll talk about that another time.
Here we go.
I'll say a defensive line. What Jess has got out of defensive tackles is incredibly impressive. If you don't see that, then you're blind, and not paying attention. I don't know what the vibe of the team is, Ian. I don't know. I haven't been around them yet. We'll see. We'll find out this week.
Here's a good question. Does a performance like last night impact our ability to land some recruits that we're starting to get more interested?
No.
Might come see that play.
You're in the top 25 now.
Yeah.
If you're at 6 and 7 or struggling at the 7 wins, yes. When you're above that threshold, no. I have no idea, dude. You guys want to know the vibe of the team? I have no clue. They were upset last night. Like, that was the last time I saw any of these people. I'm not spending Sunday like banging kids. I'm banging up, on kids' doors, asking them like what's going on.
All right, let's see here. Here's a good question about recruiting. What kind of shape are we in with Jordan Carter, the defense end? Well, if you read the
To
board,
read Alex's update on him on the message board,
yeah,
he had one
I think
on
he's going to
Friday.
get a good look at Georgia Tech soon. So,
And the Auburn, who was the other suitor, just fired their coach. So
yeah,
piece that together.
I think that would be pretty good. There's a question about the ACC Command Center review thing. I guess that was just not one of the games they did that for last night. They picked certain games to use that for, and I don't guess
Oh,
Georgia Tech,
really?
NC State was. I don't think that was one of them. They didn't go to
They
them
didn't go to
last
the
night.
command center and do that
No,
whole rigmarole.
I don't believe so. Unless I wasn't paying attention. I don't remember that.
Is it a catch? Is it confirmed? What's the yardage?
I didn't see that Georgia Florida play either till like
We
afterward.
actually saw it. We were watching. We had a couple games on TVs in the box.
I mean, I didn't know the guy was that wide open down the field. But yeah, I thought he caught the ball. Look, it bounced up off his arms. But I'm a little biased, so. Let's see here.
Malik played. He came in on the 2-point conversion. Remember, he got lit up throwing it. He just didn't start. Jordan Allen played most of the game. They started with twin tight ends in the game. They played a lot of that 11. But Jordan Allen played most of the game. Jordan Allen played 49 snaps on Saturday of 73 offensive snaps. Malik played 10 offensive snaps in the game, and Bailey did not play.
JT Byrne got his first touchdown catch, so.
Yeah. Everybody but I think all of them have a touchdown catch now in their Georgia Tech career.
Yeah.
All of the tight ends in the room that have played tight end in a game.
The 4 co-starters.
Can't use that word in the chat, dude. That's a bad word you used. You got to pick a different way of describing your defensive line talent you want.
There's a question about the red zone execution. What went wrong? Well,
2 offensive line starters were out. That hurt a little bit, I would say.
Yeah, false starts and bad times helped not get 6 points there.
But Kenny only played 30 snaps in the game because he got banged on the head, if I were to hazard a guess, based on reading the tea leaves. And Riggs had to come in and play the whole second half of the game, plus, I guess, some of the second quarter. And then you had no, obviously Harrison Moore wasn't really ready to go.
I believe 74 was in on the last drive at right tackle.
Galloway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played 8 snaps there at tackle yesterday.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a question about if the game was at noon, what do you think we would have won that game? I don't know. I don't think it would have been as loud for sure, but they hadn't exactly had the best luck playing at noon the last few weeks either. So
They did finally complete that play to Rivers that they've had dialed up all season.
Yep. He
had a good day. Jordan Allen had a good day. Canyon was totally out of it. They had 1 target. They had 1 catch, and that was on the last drive of the game. Yeah, Rivers and Jordan Allen had 217 yards receiving or something like that, 207, something like that combined.
I know Allen went over 100.
Yeah, he had 110 on 5, and then I think Rivers was like 3 for 97, something like that.
I thought Rivers had a chance to score on that long play, but he's
kind of like ran into his blocking, like downfield or whatever. I don't know. It was weird. He he didn't run away from the guy.
Yeah, on the long, he tried to kind of stop and juke the guy out instead of just beat him with his speed. It was weird. Let's see here.
The two tight ends, Seither and Harpering, had 8 for 124. And then JT had a touchdown. Because have you followed anything that's happened there since Terry Bowden? Like, it is basically a death job for head coaches. That would be why.
Tommy Tuberville beat Alabama like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years in a row, and they ran him off quickly.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to get Bobby Petrino way back in the day, like behind his back.
Yep, I remember all of that. Let's see. Let's go to since Terry Bowden, they've had 1. So that was 98. They've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're about to be on their 6th coach since then. Georgia Tech's had 4. Put in perspective. And one of those was Jeff, who was awful.
You think he would take the Auburn job? That'd be a good.
Also, he wasn't an Auburn guy either. No. They should go hire my boy Charles Kelly. He's doing a good job at Jacksonville State. They could do worse than him. They're gonna not hire. So the 2 names I heard for the Auburn job are Sumrall and Drink at Missouri. I think those are the 2 guys, and then Dillingham's the 3rd one. Dillingham, I think, has played LSU too. So Dillingham's a pretty good coach. You guys got to relax a little bit about Brent and other jobs. Like, this ain't the time where he's going to jump. Auburn should hire Mike Bobo. Yeah, that would make Georgia fans ridiculously happy if that happened. I mean, I wouldn't want that.
Here's a question about the bye week. What days are practice versus rest? After let
depends. They change it up every time.
Yeah.
So they'll have like part of the weekend off. They might have a day or 2. What a lot of times they'll do is also more of a focus on the younger guys, letting them play like within the system instead of the scout team.
And they'll have a day that is live.
I've been in Jordan Hare when they were not winless. They were just sort of mediocre and their fans did not show up. So I don't know that's true either.
Bama goes to Jordan Hare in a few weeks too. So it's not been an easy place to play for them.
Yeah, you forget I covered a team that played Auburn every year, like for how long? 6, 7 years. Been there pretty regularly.
There's a question about where the coaches might be going this weekend. We'll probably know that later on in the week. I'm sure they'll hit the road to see some guys. The problem is Georgia High School is off this week. They take a full week before the playoffs this year. So
that's a good one.
I'm going to read through these here.
Everybody's got observations, Justin.
There's another question about Santucci leaving. We covered that. He wanted to coach the NFL.
Like literally, Brent wasn't upset. Like they were totally cool with how that all went down. I know this from like multiple people like involved in it. Like you don't block someone's dream. Like if whoever walked into your office that works for you and their dream was to go work for some other place in a different city or whatever, if you're a like quality human being, you're not going to stop them unless you think it's just a bad situation for them. You know what I mean? Like you're going to wish them well, and especially if it was on good terms. Like it's different when it's acrimonious or there's Gus Malzahn at Florida State or whatever. Like those are probably a little bit different deals, but yeah. So we'll see what happens. And if it's not working with Blake, the thing with Brent is like Brent will make that evaluation, but he'll pull the ripcord if he doesn't think it's working. But you got to trust this dude. He has made really good hires. I think that's just the situation here. You got to trust the guy to figure it out. He seems to be very good at picking staff, personnel, coming up with things. And we'll see how he does going forward and how they fix this, because they're well aware of what their shortcomings and issues are, and it's been very much shared. But that's an internal conversation, not really something for us. But I appreciate y'all. And Alex appreciates y'all jumping on tonight. I'm sure Alex was having a rough night. I woke up at like 4 a.m. Thought I was gonna like vomit. It had nothing to do with the game. I just wasn't like feeling well for some reason. So it's been I'm pretty exhausted.
I felt pretty bad about it last night, but I woke up this morning and had a more positive mindset. 8-1, like we said, we'd take that. Before the year, it sucks to lose a game like that, but still
Yeah,
a
I
lot.
need to find my matrix I did.
Yeah.
Before it's probably a good week to rebuild. Put that in my notes to revisit that preseason predictions.
I mean, bye week, Boston College, Pitt, Georgia. You got 3 games in front of you that you can win. You'll be rested. Hopefully have some guys back. Everything's still out in front of you. I think that's one of the first things Key said last night in his pressers. They haven't, the goals are still ahead. So that's what you got to look at it as.
Mm-hmm.
Got some.
The season ain't over. Like it isn't anywhere close to being over yet. So we'll see what happens like over the coming weeks. But everyone, keep your heads up. Be happy you're in the top 16, right, in both bowls. I think 16 and 15.
14 and 16, yeah. I thought they would drop further, honestly. That's what I said. But I guess there's some respect for what they've done so far.
And it's been a great season. And hopefully you get like Haynes King to end in an epic way that, on Black Friday where he has a chance to maybe get himself into New York City, the chance to be special like he did last year. So it is a very, very Georgia Tech team. As Eric, we'll leave on this note. Eric put so well: can beat anyone in the country, can lose anyone in the country. That is the mantra at this building stage of the program right now. So everybody show up for the Pitt game. Nancy just mentioned that in the chat too. Like, show up, root on your team, root for your team. Come up to Boston if you can. I don't know if that's going to be a hot ticket, so it might be like bad Duke level crowd. So I hope people show up, and maybe Georgia Tech will make the playoffs. Maybe they won't. We don't know, but it's going to be fun to find out. And appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. And thanks everybody. And be good. Have a good week.
Come watch some basketball. Come watch some basketball tomorrow night with me.
Yeah, go show up for the Damon Stoudemire boys.
I'm sure pretty sure there's some cheap tickets available. So, but yeah, on to better things this week.
Appreciate y'all. You have a good night.